and welcome to the Rock Snowpark's terrain-based learning experience. Terrain-based learning is brand new to the Rock Snowpark and something we are proud to have to help you get better at skiing and snowboarding. Some of the great parts about terrain-based learning is that the terrain, the snow, is built in a way to help you get super good at skiing and snowboarding in a lot quicker time. It also allows the bar to entry to be a lot lower, meaning that anybody can learn to ski and snowboard no matter their age and no matter their ability. It's a fantastic thing that we offer so that more people like you can get out onto the slopes and be amazing skiers and snowboarders. With our terrain-based learning features, we start right here at the flats. This is the first feature, and it is just a flat area in our beginner area. A couple things that we do in the flats is we get used to our equipment. This is super important because the equipment is what we are trusting as we go and we ski or board around the mountain. So we want to get comfortable on our boots, we want to get comfortable on our boards, and we want to get comfortable with a lot of the movements that are crucial to skiing and snowboarding. Some of those include moving up and down. It includes rotation, some flexion and extension, and things as simple as moving in a circle on our equipment. You'll spend quite a bit of time here on the flats, either when you're out here working through our terrain-based learning features or with one of our many trained instructors. Now that we've finished working through the flats, let's head on to the second part of our terrain-based learning, the mini pipe. So as we move on over, we teach people how to do the duck walk and how to skate, which are both crucial parts to moving around on flat snow throughout the hill. Once we make it over to this part, we show our participants how to sidestep up the hill, which can be crucial at all points when you're out on the hill, whether you lost ski and need to move up a little bit, or you're on our beginner area and trying to reach a new location. This is where a lot of that flexion and rotation and edge work that we work on in the flats already starts to come into play. We have now made it to our mini pipe, which is the second part of our terrain-based learning features. The mini pipe might be the second most important part of terrain-based learning and learning how to ski and snowboard. So if we're looking down at this, we see that it goes down and goes up into a reverse berm. And so when we ski down, we get that taste of starting to move down and slide on snow. And then the terrain naturally stops us and rolls us back down. So when we're out here with participants, this is where you're first getting that straight run on the snow, and then we transition into turning. So you will experience your first turns, your first moments sliding on the snow right here at the mini pipe. For example, I am just gonna slide down in my ready position, and I stop. It's the perfect spot to get used to that new sliding feeling. We'll then hike back up and practice this many more times. Once we're comfortable with making those straight runs, we're gonna practice our turning, which again initiates those edges, that rotation and flexion that we practiced over in the flats. Once we're really comfortable over in part 2 of the mini pipe, we're gonna work our way down to the rollers. And so our rollers are conveniently located right down from our mini pipe area, and this allows us to get our first taste of really achieving speed on the hill. So we'll take our participants over to the third spot. We'll get them ready to go on the rollers, and what we do is we practice moving up and down when we're skiing and snowboarding. That up and down movement is super important as we get into turning more and going on harder and larger terrain. So when we're at the rollers, we get in our ready position, we go down, and we come up as we come over the rollers and back down. Rollers are a great spot to really get comfortable with gaining speed and moving down a hill before we head up to the top of our beginner area or anywhere else on the hill. So once we're comfortable with the rollers, moving up and down over this bump, we'll head on over to the beginner conveyor and head to the top of our beginner area. We are over at our beginner conveyor, which is the first lift that we'll use while we're out on the hill. As you see, we just slide right on up to the conveyor. We let our skis or our snowboard catch on, and it takes us all the way to the top. As we go up the beginner conveyor, we can see all of our amazing features here at the Rock Snowpark. So on my right, we can see the bank turns, which is the next part of terrain-based learning. And on my left, we see an example of a perfect slope. Here's one of our many friendly lift-offs helping us get up. Our fourth station is the bank turns, which happens to be a favorite of many people, one of the most exciting parts of our terrain-based learning features. This is when participants finally get to take their first real big turns, and they start connecting those turns into S-turns. And the way our terrain-based learning features are built over here is that participants don't even need to put a lot into their turns to really get a feel and motion for what it's like going down, which is the really exciting part of terrain-based learning. The terrain is built to help us learn and get better at our skills. So we'll head on down, we'll test out the terrain-based learning features right now. So what we do is we head over to the start, we get in our good ready stance, and we start to move down, and we start to go through these features. I'll head over to the first bank, and the bank naturally pushes me over to the next one. And then I can use these place brushes to practice turning around them as I get better at my turns. And then I'm pushed back to the third banked turn. I go through my turn, I practice different pressure on my boots, and I end up at the bottom, finally completing my first turn successfully down the beginner area. We can head on over to our perfect slope over here, or down to our next run, Easy Street, to really practice on normal terrain, turning and getting comfortable on our skis or snowboard. So this is our perfect slope area, which is the fifth part of terrain-based learning. The perfect slope is designed like a perfect slope that you'd find anywhere else out on the ski hill, except ours is a little bit more fun, a little bit more exciting. We have these really cool arches set up, and what these arches allow us to do is to practice getting really low as we're skiing down in that skier stance. And it also allows us to practice our turns with designated spots to turn around. Then when we get to the bottom, it makes us practice our stops at the bottom of a run, getting us comfortable and ready to continue on to bigger hills. So with this one, I'm gonna practice getting really low and underneath it. And then I'm gonna turn around these arches, practicing that pressure and flexion of my ankles. And then at the bottom, I can practice stopping, maybe a hockey stop, maybe a pizza, and that is our perfect slope. Thank you so much for watching. We are really looking forward to seeing you out on our terrain-based learning experience.